All right. I am live because I couldn't figure out how to just schedule it and have it start at 3:30. So we'll give it another 2 minutes or so and actually put this online so people can see it. All right. All right. It is never weird seeing myself on screen. I swear, my computer is super slow. I don't understand why. So normally, this is the part that would be done before I go live, but you guys are seeing all the back end stuff, which is so exciting as I just scroll around. But it's 3:30, start it up. What is up, internet? What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel, all you nerds. It's me, HeyArcher, doing my second HeyArcher live or YouTube live. I'm not sure how to label it because I didn't want it to just fully be just a 101 live. So I guess that's why I just labeled it a HeyArcher live. But I'll figure out a new title for that, of course. Of course, if you're new here, like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching this after the fact. But if you're here live, then you feel free to leave comments, questions. I'll be able to read those as we go along. And I also didn't prep enough URLs to put them in the section, in the details. One of the things I wanted to do today actually was kind of keep showing you guys, different things you can do to get your podcast going, your YouTube channels going. But I also wanted to plug a couple different content creators that could help you, and also plug a couple different creatives, artists, etc., that make some dope stuff that you probably would be interested in buying. Because in these times, as I say, it's always good to support your local artists, support your friends who may be displaced or unemployed in this craziness that is the coronavirus 2020 or something like that. I'm not sure how we're properly labeling it. But I'll get my own plugs out of the way first. Don't forget down in the comment section to leave the questions, of course. But in the description, you can find a couple different things. One, you have a full part list of what I use to make my content. So if you're thinking about, what was that? I just ate and there was food in my mouth. If you're thinking about buying any gear to start making your own podcast or YouTube channel, I have a full list down below. Using those Amazon links always help this channel out, as I am an Amazon affiliate. But also, if you're ready to start creating your own podcast, there is a affiliate link down below for Buzzsprout, which is the website that I use to upload my podcast on all the different sites. Again, Spotify, iTunes, etc. So tons of fun things down there. Of course, if you head over to HeyArcher.com, you'll actually find a full list of everything. Parts, links, etc. So the first thing I wanted to kind of point out was in my video on creating your Buzzsprout account, I had a couple missayings there, I guess, or a couple errors, I should say. Buzzsprout doesn't tell you how many uploads you've had. It just tells you how many downloads you've had. That was probably the biggest one. And the other one, of course, is that on Buzzsprout, you do have that free trial period of actually it's a free membership, and you can upload up to 2 hours of content every single week. Every month. See, I'm all over the place. The Jon Jones thing, man. The Jon Jones thing is getting me. I'll get to that. You can upload 2 hours of content every month, but after 90 days, Buzzsprout will erase that content unless you pay for even their base tier. So feel free to use Buzzsprout. Use my link down below. By using the link, you are not signing up for it right away in the paid version. You're just using my link to get to Buzzsprout, so that way they know I sent you. And of course, we always can help you get started with your content. The next video I'm going to do actually in this 101 series that I create is actually going to be showing you how easy it is to create the audio file for your podcast. A lot of people I guess I'll backtrack for a second. Whenever you're watching your favorite podcast, your favorite show, your favorite content creator, a lot of times it could be very disheartening or discouraging to see the level of quality they have. You see the microphones, the headphones, you see everything. And, especially like we'll use Joe Rogan for an example. You're watching the Joe Rogan podcast and you're like, all right, there are thousands of dollars worth of things just sitting there on the table. And I don't have any of that. So how am I supposed to start my podcast? The truth is you don't need that. You don't need any of that stuff. I've said it a million times, and I'll continue to sing it from the mountaintops. If you've got a cell phone, you can make a podcast. So I'm going to do a video on how just using a cell phone and a computer, you can make an audio-only podcast and upload that to the various sites, again, using Buzzsprout. So that will be coming up. But as far as, having all sorts of gear and stuff, start small. They said just use your phone, just start making it, and then you can go from there. Of course, if you do want to start making YouTube videos, that's where over time, if you become consistent, then you can, of course, start buying gear to, add to your repertoire, if you would. So if you are watching at home, I see there's a couple people actually watching. Make sure, hey, Aaron, what's going on? Make sure to leave a thumbs up if you're enjoying these videos, if you enjoy the content, and subscribe if you're a new viewer here. I know a lot of you are actually coming in from Instagram and Facebook groups and stuff, so it's pretty exciting. So something that I wanted to, answer that somebody had asked, actually, while I kind of brainstormed that, I'm going to look on Instagram to make sure I didn't miss any questions. There was a question as to what should you make your content on, and what happens if you don't have an idea for content, which is a great question. And my answer to that is actually what I'm doing at this very moment. I had an idea of what I wanted to talk about. And of course, coming into this, I wanted this to be a continuation of the 101 series, but I think I'm going to go left real fast on this. Just talk. Like as you're making your content, as you're recording yourself audibly, just talk. And by doing that, you get used to hearing yourself talk, which, believe it or not, is a tough part. And two, you just kind of get familiar with how you want to deliver what you're trying to address, what you're trying to talk about. And as you continue doing that, it's almost like doing reps or like practicing your jump shot or practicing whatever. Like the more you do it, your ideas start to flow. The content kind of starts to flow. You might even start stacking content. You might sit down one day, record for 30 minutes, you're done with it, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna do another 20 or 30 minutes. And you do something else, and you keep going with it. And then all of a sudden you have a full library of content at your disposal. So to the question that was, I don't even know what to talk about, but I want to start a podcast. Just talk. Just turn on the camera, turn on your recorder, just start going at it, and you'll be fine. You'll find that over time you will find something to talk about. Also, Aaron has a video podcast idea to show how easy it is. You should make a full video where you use your phone for a podcast or video. Yeah, so that's going to be another video for sure. Thanks for verifying my idea, because I wanted to do that as well. The part that's going to be tricky on that, about making a full podcast on just my phone, I think would be most likely the editing portion. To do, yeah, I guess if it's just podcasts, you don't really have to edit that much because it'll be just like this. But yeah, I think the full thing, you can just do it straight off the phone. No intros, no openers, none of that. You will have to go back to a computer. So that's actually a good point. You will have to go back to a computer to add the annotations and to add your end screen tiles, which might sound like French to a lot of you who are watching right now, especially if you're new. So when you're watching a YouTube video, and right now if you're watching this after the fact, randomly throughout the video, on the top you're going to see, a sentence pop out like, check out HeyArcher's 101 series, or check out Aaron's channel or something. Those are annotations, and you can put in your YouTube video 5 of them throughout your video. And what it does, and the way that you want to use that to your advantage, is as you're talking about a topic, if you want people to be able to reference that topic, or even if you're like, hey, go check out this other video first and come back, those are a great place to do those. To create those, I don't think you can do that on a phone. So you'd have to go back to a computer in order to add those in. Second one I was mentioning was the end screen tiles. So again, full video, you can record it on your phone, but at the end of the videos, you're probably used to seeing, you'll have, like all sorts of things pop up, like click here to watch my 101 series, click here to watch how to create a Buzzsprout account, subscribe here. All of those you have to do on a computer, to my knowledge. If somebody knows a way around it, please put in the comment section at some point if there's a way to do that just on your phone. But I love that idea of not only doing an audio podcast, but doing a video version of that where I do the whole thing on my phone, start to finish. I guess the question would be, do I record that process with my camera and then show me doing it, or do it just on the phone? That'd be a fun project there. But the one thing I want to point out as well, in all of you who are starting off your channel, I do a lot of plugs here because I have a lot of good resources, I think. On my website, HeyArcher.com, under my gear, I do have that full part list, but there's also at the bottom a how to get started for under $150. So if you do want to out the gate kind of up your quality, so you're not just starting at the bare minimum, and you even want just a good microphone or whatnot, I have there some essential things that I feel you would need if you want to start above the base level. And all of those should stay under $150. I think if you out the gate start podcasting and spending $200, $300, $400, then you might be putting the carriage before the horse. Because if you buy all this gear and you end up not liking it, now you're in the hole potentially thousands of dollars and nothing came from it. So start small, use that part list, learn from my mistakes, buy only the stuff that that works. And from there, you can kind of start building out your channel. The other thing that's interesting about this whole coronavirus thing and people wanting to create content, by the way, thanks for all of the new watchers that are here. Make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed yet. It's going to be full of advertisements for myself here. What's interesting about the whole creating content during the coronavirus, it goes back to a point I made a while back where I mentioned that if you want to start creating your own podcast or YouTube channel, you should start doing that solo. And the reason being is I've seen a lot of examples of people who start podcasting or start a show, just start creating with a friend, and they do the shows together, which is great. And I love the fact that people, hey, what's up, Suzanne? I love the fact that people want to create together, which is, it's amazing, especially if you can talk to somebody and bounce ideas back and forth. Just kind of, you've probably seen it actually in my videos where I had, Lenny or Aaron or Josh. Like, it's just fun to have somebody to talk with. But the reason you don't want to get used to that is because there's going to be days, and even now in the current crisis that's going on, where you can't be physically with a friend to do a show. So one of the things I say is if you have an idea, if you want to start making your own content, start doing it by yourself and supplement those boring times with your friend. So that way, if your friend wants to do a show, you guys can do a weekly show. I'm going to do one later with Anthony. And yeah, that just adds to the content. But I don't necessarily need a friend in order to make content, because all of a sudden one person cancels this week, one person cancels next week, and then all of a sudden you're going weeks on weeks without putting out any content, and your channel will at some point start to kind of phase off. Something that a lot of successful YouTubers will tell you is to become successful on YouTube, there's a number of different avenues you can take. They're very small, or they're limited, I should say. But the one consistent thing is that YouTube is, what was that saying at Maritime? It's like the sea is selective. YouTube will literally just, for some odd reason, on that day, at that time, grab your thumbnail or grab your hashtag. And if somebody's looking up, like Suzanne says that she loves the tripod, it'll just say, all right, we're going to, for the next 10 seconds, I'm pulling best tripods on the internet, or best tripods for podcasting. And YouTube literally will just pull that hashtag. And if somebody's searching it, they'll determine the order that they're showing what's the best tripod on YouTube. One of the ways to stay consistently at the top, or not necessarily, I mean, you probably have to be like the biggest YouTuber to be at the top every time, but the best way to keep your chances up of being seen is to be consistent. If your channel is dead in the water, if your channel is very inconsistent, you won't show up as suggested. You won't show up at the top of search features, search bars, that kind of thing. The other thing that's good about you being consistent, even if your ideas are all over the place, is you don't know what's going to stick. And you want to just keep on just producing, so that one, YouTube sees that your channel is always active, always moving, but you just take chances. And maybe today somebody's looking up tripods, finds my video, but maybe tomorrow some kid that's at home bored wants to make a Naruto headband. All of a sudden my content pops up there too, because I just randomly decided to make a Naruto video one day. And by YouTube saying, oh, Archer's always consistent, we'll move him up on the search bar list as to what is, who's a consistent creator. So just keep cranking out that content. Just keep making it, even if you're not sure the direction you want to go at. Just continue making the content, and you can do that easily if you're doing it by yourself. Supplement a guest here and there. If you want to do a separate podcast with a friend, by all means do that. But if you have that will and desire to start podcasting, you've got to start it on your own. You can get help to put it together, but you have to be the one to make the content. Because if you don't, and you're depending on somebody else, it's easy to blame somebody else for you not making your content, if that makes sense. Of course, for all of you new watchers now, because I see even more people have come in, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. That helps this channel. Subscribe, of course. But if you have questions on starting your channel, starting your content, hardware to buy or not buy, leave it down in the comment section here. In the live chat, I can see it if you're watching it live. Otherwise, if you're watching this after the fact, put it in the comments. I'll come back and I'll answer a lot of those questions. Another question that came up, actually, I'll show you. I'll be right back. I'm going to show you actually two different types of mics that you might see a lot of your favorite creators show. And I kind of want to show you the ones I think you should start with. I also have a link for that down below. But one that I don't think you should start with if you're starting your content. So just give me 1 second. All right. So a question came up as to if I want to not just use my phone's microphone, what can I use to create a better quality audio experience, especially if you're doing audio only for your podcast or whatever you're making. There are two kinds of mics that generally you can start off with, right? There's a type of mic called a dynamic mic and a condenser mic. So the most popular that people tend to start with, because the price point tends to be lower, is a condenser mic. Snowball being the most popular brand. Now, a Snowball mic, afterwards I'll put a link down below so you can check it out and see the prices, because they kind of jump all over the place. The Snowball mics, they are generally USB plugged. So if you're doing your podcast on a computer, they're great for that. And that's why a lot of people jump at them. But also they tend to be on the cheaper price point of roughly $50. I want to say I've seen them on sale for around 50. Oh, sorry, to maybe 100 if you get one of the higher end Snowball mics. But the interesting part about this is that it's taking sound from all around it, which in theory is great, because if I'm doing a podcast with a friend, I can put the mic in the center, and then all of a sudden I'm talking to it, you're talking to it, and you can pick up all the sound. But there lies the problem with condenser mics, is they pick up all the sound. So if you're not using a soundproof room, if there's a dog around, if your roommate is there, the garbage truck goes by, that mic's picking up everything. It can't determine you're the primary speaker, only focus on you. So therein lies the other type of mic, a dynamic mic. And this is something that you've probably seen at concerts. And when you're at a concert, you have a singer, they're singing into this. The reason being is you have to be pointed at it for it to actually pick up that sound. So if you do want to have friends or guests, you need to have multiples of these in order for everybody to talk, unless you want to just pass the mic around, which is perfectly fine when you're starting off. See if it works, because believe it or not, you might buy multiple dynamic mics, and then all of a sudden nobody shows up at your house, which is pretty sad, but you'd have all these mics around that you've wasted money on and you're not even using them. So if anything, start with one, pass it amongst your friends if you're doing a show together, and grow from that point on. But if you're to start with one of the two, whether it's a dynamic or a condenser, unless that room is soundproofed, you're going to go with the dynamic. It's going to cost you more out the gate. It's $100 generally before you even buy the cable or a mic stand, but much better sound quality, especially for an audio only, over the Snowball. So that was a great question, whoever came up with that one. What are the benefits of a different mic over the mic in my phone or the camera? All right, yeah, that's actually a great point, Suzanne. So it's kind of this, it kind of goes along the same principle of the difference between condenser and direct. Your phone, if you're using, let's use the iPhone, for example. If you're using an iPhone and you're recording, it's trying to take all the sound around you because it's not sure where you are. Like, you normally have the phone like this, but it's all because the mic is in the bottom. It's also meant to be this way, but they also know that, hey, you might put the phone down to do something. So it works in a condenser sense where you can be along the sides talking to it and it picks up the sound. But the downside to that is if there's people around you doing other things, it will pick up that sound. So it's great, again, if you're in a quiet area and you want to, create that content, yeah, use the mic in your phone to do so. But you've got to be in a quiet area, especially if you want to do audio only. And if you want to, again, up the quality over time, I'd get a dedicated mic. A great dedicated mic, actually, even when you're just starting off, could be your headphone microphone. Like if you've got the wired Apple headphones, use the mic on that. If you've got some Bluetooth headphones, try using the mic on that. You might be surprised at actually how good that sounds over just using the phone microphone just on its own. So you got a lot of options to start off. You don't have to, again, jump out the gate at one of these. If you do, I've got the links down below. But if you've got some sort of headphones around you or whatnot, please feel free to use those. You'd be surprised how good it sounds. You started with the Blue Snowball, then moved to the Blue Yeti. The Yeti will give you options to have a more full condensed. So the Yeti from the same company, actually it does that, which is great. Adding the windscreens and covers helps a lot too. Yeah. So actually, if you go to Aaron's channel, Aaron's in the comments here, Aaron Waller on YouTube, you'll see that he actually uses the the Yeti, and it sounds a lot different than if he's using a Snowball. So actually, Aaron, if you can at some point just do a video where you compare both or whatnot, that'd be cool, because I don't have access to both. I only have the direct and then the condenser. But yeah, you'll see that with some mics, when your baseline starting off, the Snowball will be cheaper, but it's picking up all the sound around you, which depends on what you're trying to do. Could benefit you or hurt you. Depends what you want to do. There was another question that I was trying to remember. Somebody had asked. We did the topics, doing it with a friend, Buzzsprout. Oh, I remember. So if you one of the things that becomes annoying for a lot of people is you start a YouTube channel, you want to start promoting a YouTube channel, but every time you share the URL for your channel, it's youtube.com/ all these letters and numbers and all that kind of stuff. So a question was, how do you change that to say whatever it is that you want to say? So the quick answer to that, you need 100 subscribers to your channel. And getting 100 subscribers, there's many videos online on how to do it. Again, just like with the YouTube picking your channel out of, YouTube being selective, there is no perfect method to get 100 subscribers if you're not a celebrity. That's the cold hard truth. Same for getting 500,000, etc. You can make shocking content. That's one way to kind of speed that up if you wanted to take that risk. You can talk about if you can somehow talk about something that's super relevant right now in the moment, then yeah, that might be a way that people would just see it instantly and just gravitate towards it, and then you can start adding subscribers. But if you don't have a deep library of content, it's going to be hard for people to just justify subscribing to you out the gate. But once you hit that mark of 100 subscribers, YouTube unlocks the option in your settings to change your URL, which I made a video on that. And that was my initial goal when I started this whole thing, was I want to get to the point where I'm no longer youtube.com/ random letters and numbers. I want to be youtube.com/ HeyArcher. So thank you to all of you who subscribed even before all this to get me there, because that was a huge milestone for me. But that's the only way to do it, is you have to get to 100 subscribers. And, I don't want to say don't fall for it, but a lot of people will make videos that are very clickbaity, right? And I'm guilty. I've done, just to try it, I did, 2 videos where the title is something that's just very kind of eye-catching. One of them, of course, being "Make money to start your podcast," which was true. The whole video is it's accurate. But usually clickbaity type stuff, or a true clickbait, would be something like a picture of me sad saying I'm done, right? And you're like, oh, what could possibly he be done with? He's done with YouTube. Is he done with life? Is he done with his job? I'm not sure. And people will click on it, watch the video, and the video might have nothing to do with what that is. Or I'm done could be I'm done with, I don't know, subscribing to Hulu or something stupid. By doing that, by having those clickbaity videos, people tend to click into your content more, and that tends to be a way to get a better chance of more subscribers. But again, if you don't have a lot of content in there, they may not subscribe out the gate. So by being consistent, that's how you can really up your subscriber base. But all these videos out there that tell you, oh, get 100 subscribers, get 1,000 subscribers in a month, here's how. There's some good information in there, but especially if you see a video that's a 10-minute video on how to make $1,000 a month making YouTube videos, a lot of that is clickbait. And the reason being is, in their case, right? And that's why, just to jump for a second, that's why Pat Flynn is one of my favorite content creators for helping build your channel. So is Think Media, because they get right to the point when they say how to do blank. There's some other channels out there that they'll say how to do let's say $1,000 a month on YouTube, it takes them 10 minutes to get to that point. And the reason being is YouTube, as far as the algorithm goes and as far as ad revenue goes, it's based on how long you're watching a video. So they'll make a video that says, get 100 subscribers in a month, and it'll be a 10-minute video. And at the end, they give you a couple hints here and there. But really, there is no trick. There's zero trick to doing that. It's all, a lot of it's luck, but a lot of it's also just consistency. You made it to 100 subs video only 2 months ago, 30 new subs in 2 months. That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, hey, it's thanks to you. It's thanks to all of you who are watching. And Aaron's also trying to get to his next milestone, so make sure you subscribe to his channel. But you just got to grind. If you create any of this, if you create the podcast, if you create a YouTube channel, and your intention is kind of the overnight celebrity thing, it's not going to happen. Again, exceptions to the rule. Of course, if you make shocking content, if you're a celebrity, yeah, your channel can probably grow overnight. I was looking at I follow Rude Jude. He's a shock jock on Sirius XM, and I've subscribed to their YouTube channel and, of course, some other ones that show a lot of his content. And he was on the Alexis Texas podcast. I didn't even know she had one. I'm indifferent towards how the podcast is, but out the gate, thousands and thousands of subscribers because she's an adult star. So people see it and they're like, oh, I wonder if she's gonna do something shocking on there, and they subscribe. So that would be, you'd have to be a level like that or something like that to out of the gate for you to start making money doing this, for you to start getting thousands of subscribers out the gate. Because I mean, everybody from even, was it MK? I always mess up his name, MKBHD or whatever. He didn't start out with 1 million subscribers. Like it's a slow build, and you just got to keep making content. And eventually, people subscribe to you, they find you, and once you get enough, change the URL on your channel. That's my long-winded answer to that question. So the other thing I want to talk about randomly off the, kind of sidebar, the Jon Jones thing. If you're not a UFC fan, I guess you can turn off now, but make sure you like and subscribe before you leave. So Jon Jones today, in his infinite wisdom, was arrested for aggravated DWI, negligent use of a firearm in Albuquerque. MMA Fighting actually has a picture of the arrest record, which is nuts. Yeah, 1 count of aggravated DWI, 1 count negligent use of a firearm, 1 count possession of open container, 1 count no proof of insurance in vehicle. I think the UFC has issued a statement to MMA Fighting on Thursday following the news. They're aware of the situation. The organization has been in contact with Jones's management team and is currently gathering information. I don't know what there is to get together at this point on that. I'm a huge Jon Jones fan. I've been a Jon Jones fan. I guess that's a typical thing to say. I've been a fan since, Pride or whatever. I've been a Jon Jones fan since it was around the Stephan Bonner fight is when I caught notice of him. And I was already kind of like, all right, I like his style. I just liked his interviews. He seemed like me. Like we in me watching him talk and his personality, I saw kind of similarities between us. And then I met Jon Jones at the World MMA Expo in New York. And he was a cool dude. Liked talking to him. And I was like, that was before the Bader fight. And I was like, I guess cliche thing to say. I was like, dude, I think you're going to be champ for a long time. Like, you got that Bader fight. Like, that's all you. And, I was a fan ever since. But it's like every time you turn around, there's another Jon Jones as blank. How many DUIs is this or DWIs is this? The hit and run where he fled the scene of the accident. It's getting to a point where, how many times are you going to defend a millionaire athlete? That's really what it comes down to. If it's one of my friends who happens to screw up every so often, I'm like, all right, let's help you get better. Let's do whatnot. But, how many times are you going to start feeling bad for somebody who's a multimillionaire who can have people drive him around. It's really getting to an extreme point here where I think as a fan, you know, I don't know how you bounce back from this. I'm sure UFC will find a way to pay for him to bounce back from this. But aside from that, I think I'm jumping off the Jon Jones train for a while. But in the comment section, if there are any of you who are UFC fans, I want you to write what you're thinking about this scenario. If you're going to still be a fan, if you stopped being a fan of his a long time ago, that whole thing. But I'm also curious if any of you are still watching any sports. Like I know ESPN, they turned on the Ocho and they were doing all sorts of like crazy things. So if there's a sport you're watching currently that's still going on, please write it in the comments. I'd love to check out some other random sports. So I think the UFC game, I think all of that's going to be off for a while, especially because fighters are now coming out. Just like I mentioned last week, fighters are coming out and saying, hey, we're not even practicing because we can't practice. I can't be in a gym full of people sweating on a mat. It was hard enough fighting staph infections all the time. Now you got to fight off this freaking coronavirus thing. So there's that. But I want you guys to tell me there's a sport you're watching that's still going on and if you should watch it. Because I think the only high-level sport I see still on TV is wrestling. Pretty sure AWE's doing their thing, but I know for sure WWE's still doing their thing. This would be a part where Lenny would jump in because he's more the pro of that than I am. But yeah, this was fun. I enjoyed. I think I might just call it HeyArcher Live, and then I'll put in the parentheses what the topics are going to be. But I wanted to primarily address some starting podcasts, starting YouTube questions that I know a lot of you have had, and a lot of you, like I said, the light in all of this that is the coronavirus pandemic is that a lot of people now are creating. For that reason, I think a lot of you, if you know somebody who's creating, you should, one, support their content, but two, if there's somebody who lives and makes a living on their content, on their art, help them out. Buy some stuff. If you know DJs, like I'll put down in the description links to all my friends. Faith in the Glitch, Josh. I mean, all his DJ gigs canceled. My friend Bun, who made the artwork for the channel, he makes his living going to comic book conventions. Done. So there's a lot of people out there. Jules for Hope, they donate a lot of their, I think they donate all their profits actually to different charities and organizations. They usually fly to different places to do gift bags and that kind of thing. Done. So if you know people out there who they are, they live on their art, support them, help them out. Don't be a hater and be like, oh, you should have got a real job instead of doing that. Don't be that person. This is not the best time for any of that kind of thing. And the other one too is if you know a small business, or if you know friends that work in like the restaurant industry or something that, if they have GoFundMe's going on or anything like that, support them too. Donate to those things. The Four-Faced Liar is the one that I'm donated to currently because that was my home bar for years in New York, and that whole crew. If I can help them out in any way, shape, or form, love to. So if you know friends who are doing that, throw them a bone, support them. What was the other one? There's one other. Uncle Funky's. They're a skateboard shop in New York. One of the last remaining skate shops that's just mom and pop style owned. Check out Uncle Funky's on Instagram and all that. They actually, I don't want to say cater, but they actually get a lot of celebrities to go in there to buy longboards, shortboards. And it's funny because if you go through Instagram, it'll be the public who's like, oh, shoot, you had like Mark Ruffalo in there. Like, that's crazy. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's right. That was him. So they're like selling merch. They're selling a lot of their sweatshirts and stuff, still selling their boards, but they can't physically open the store. So companies like that, the local mom and pop style, throw them a bone, buy gift cards, do whatever, so we can all get through this together. But most importantly, I want all of you to be safe. I want all of you to keep that 6 feet. Just practice social distancing, whether you believe in it or not. It doesn't hurt for you to do it, even if you don't believe in it. But we'll get through this together, and hopefully I can help you make your content as you grow your channel. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, nerds. Don't forget links down below for all the hardware and all the gear that I have if you want to buy your own. If you want to start your own podcast, of course, Buzzsprout, as I mentioned, is my preferred site, and it would help my channel if you use the affiliate link down below to do so. Again, not scamming, or there's no pyramid scheme thing here. It's just a referral thing. If you actually sign up for Buzzsprout and you create your account and pay for it, then in 2 months, you actually get a $20 gift card to Amazon. And then you can use that Amazon gift card to buy all the cool stuff down below. See how it all comes together? You see how all the affiliate programs just kind of work together? And I hope that down the road, when you create your content, you can have your own affiliate links, and maybe you can get a sponsorship. That'd be pretty dope. I'd love to be sponsored by anything Dragon Ball Z related, but that's just me. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, leave comments down below, leave questions down below. HeyArcher and everything. HeyArcher.com for all the content. And I'll see you nerds in the next. Wait, did you subscribe yet? Did you subscribe yet? Good. Do that and the thumbs up. But I'll see you nerds in the next video. Peace. Now here's the awkward part where I try to end it and be smooth doing it. But we'll see if I actually get it to work.